The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and waking up on a Monday morning. Not a bad weekend weather-wise, but that smoke is really starting to get to all of us.
Our time now is 5:02, and we begin this morning with a family tragedy in East Bakersfield. A house fire so ferocious, the parents of a disabled woman were unable to save her. 17's Marco Torres with the heartbreaking story.
Tell me she's gone. Get out of here. Get out of here. She's gone. And so I have our 10-year-old and I'm shooing her out the door, and I'm like, come on. She's screaming for her sister. She wants to go in, and I'm like, no, we gotta go out. I'm on the phone with 911. I'm telling them, please hurry.
Calista was 22. A day later, and the home is scarred with burns. The hallway to Calista's room was scorched. The room itself barely recognizable. Her mom said Calista lived her life in pain.
Calista was born with epidermolysis bullosa. Her skin blisters and peels off her body. It's very painful. She lived 22 years in pain, doing normal things that you and I would take for granted, being able to walk, jump, hike. She could never do.
Roy says the smoke alarm in Calista's room never went off, while the one in the hallway did activate, but this only happened after he had kicked open the door. Investigators told Lynette they think Calista did not feel the flames.
The investigator had told us that she had most likely succumbed to smoke inhalation and went peacefully.
It happened on Laguna Street, near College Avenue and Oswell Street. Friends and family helped pick through what's left of the home where Calista and her family once lived.
We can't live here anymore. Our daughter passed away in this house. We just know we need to grab our stuff and just never come back. So we don't really know what the next step is. Everything's just fuzzy.
Friends set up a GoFundMe page to help the family with the costs.
We set a goal for $20,000. Part of that money is going to go towards funeral expenses, and whatever's extra is going to go towards them being able to find another place to live, because they are displaced. They are staying with a relative, but I know that they want to be on their own and want to have their own place.
17's Marco Torres reporting. As of this time, it is unknown what started the fire. A link to the GoFundMe is on our website, kget.com.
A number of local schools are ramping up security today following an apparent threat made on social media. Kern County Sheriff's Office says it is actively investigating the threat, which was targeted at Edison Middle School. KCSO says they'll have extra deputies patrolling the campus today as a precaution. Golden Valley High School, Thompson Junior High, and Edison Middle School all released statements saying they are aware of the threat. It's still unclear who posted the message. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates as they become available.
Now to your 17 homicide tracker with a man found dead in southwest Bakersfield. Police found a man unconscious and bleeding just before 3 o'clock Sunday morning in the area of Ming Avenue and Valhalla Drive near West High School. The man has not been identified. Investigators say he may have been attacked at a nearby car wash on American Avenue before dying in an alleyway. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Meantime, a person's dead after being hit by a vehicle in South Bakersfield. The driver still on the run this morning. It happened just before 11 Saturday night on South Union Avenue near Pacheco Road. The California Highway Patrol reports the person was hit by a black sedan. The driver sped away. The identity of the person killed has not been released.
Oil is beginning to show up off the coast of Southern California this morning following a spill yesterday. All of this happening in Long Beach. The owner of the pipeline said oil is no longer leaking into the ocean. At least 126,000 gallons had spilled into the waters. Local officials say the primary concerns now are for the people living in the area and the wildlife. Cleanup efforts are ongoing, but officials say they have no idea how long it will take, so the beaches may be closed for weeks, even months. The Orange County supervisors begged everyone to stay away from the beach to protect their own health and to make the cleanup effort easier.
It's so important that we avoid the beaches. We all love our beaches. We live in Southern California because of this amazing paradise here. However, I was there for a few hours today, and even during that time, I started to feel a little bit of my throat hurt, and you can feel the vapor in the air.
Representative Michelle Steele sent a letter to President Biden requesting a major disaster declaration for Orange County. No word yet from the White House.
5:07 is your time now, and an update on 2 wildfires that continue to burn to our north in Tulare County. Crews continue to gain more control over the KNP Complex fire. It's burned more than 62,000 acres and is 20% contained this morning. A temporary evacuation point is set up at the Woodlake Community Center. Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park remain closed to the public. All other evacuation orders and warnings remain in effect. And firefighters made considerable progress on the Windy Fire this weekend. It has burned more than 94,000 acres on the Tule River Indian Reserve and the Sequoia National Forest since it was sparked by lightning on September 9th. The fire is now 65% contained. That's up from 40% Friday. An evacuation shelter is still open at Porterville College.
Tens of thousands of dollars were raised to send our local veterans to our nation's capital. A fundraiser was held last week. It was hosted by The Ralph Bailey Show. It was part of a phone-in and in-person fundraiser for Honor Flight Kern County, which is hoping to send 50 veterans to Washington, D.C. Ralph Bailey posted an update on his Facebook page on Friday, saying they raised $60,000 for Honor Flight Kern County.
Well, after nearly 2 weeks of live music and deep-fried food, the 2021 Kern County Fair is officially in the books. It was a return to form for the annual event, which skipped last year due to the pandemic. Steps were taken to alleviate health worries this time around, with free vaccinations offered on site, mask recommendations, and even the fair itself shutting down for 2 days for deep cleaning. We're waiting on fair officials for this year's final attendance numbers.
And although the fair is over, another fall favorite is back. Banducci Farms is reopening its pumpkin patch for the fall starting today. This after taking last year off due to COVID-19. Admission is $5 a person, with the exception of those under 5 who can get in for free. That $5 ticket gets you one trip through the corn maze. The pumpkin patch will be open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m.
So it's out with the fair, in with all the pumpkin patches. There are so many right now. I was driving around in Tehachapi on Saturday, and there were 3 different pumpkin patches that I happened to drive past. Four. And then you've got Murray and now Banducci. So it's time. You have pumpkins at your house already.
A lot of fall fun. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
In a mandate that could impact millions of students, Governor Gavin Newsom Friday announced all California children will be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine in order to attend public and private schools in person. The coronavirus shot will be added to 10 other immunizations already required for school kids, including those for measles and mumps. The plan will have all elementary through high school students get the shots once the vaccine gains final approval from the U.S. government for different age groups, expected as early as next year.
It will follow the next term. So once the FDA is approved, we can work out that math again as early as January 1st, as late as we believe July 1st, whichever comes first.
Exemptions would be granted for medical reasons or because of religious or personal beliefs, but the exemption rules haven't been written yet. Any student without an exemption who refuses to get the vaccine would be forced to do independent study. California's largest teacher unions back the vaccination mandate, as did the California Association of School Boards. And Kern County Superintendent of Schools released the following statement. In part, it reads, KCSOS supports COVID-19 mitigation strategies that are deemed necessary by public health experts. Once fully approved by the FDA for our youth, the COVID-19 vaccine will join other immunizations, polio, measles, and chickenpox, for example, that have been required for decades to help keep our community safe and ultimately lead to fewer disruptions in our schools. The National Guard has dispatched medical teams to 3 Bakersfield hospitals as staffing shortages continue to plague local health care centers. 14 National Guard caregivers are supporting Dignity Health staff and patients at Mercy Southwest. 10 more are providing assistance at Bakersfield Memorial Hospital. Officials say the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated a staffing shortage, and several weeks ago they requested assistance from the National Guard due to a surge in COVID-19 patients at hospitals in Redding and Bakersfield. Adventist Health has also requested help from the National Guard. A 14-person team was expected to arrive this weekend. Meantime, Public Health on Friday announced 533 new cases and 3 deaths. Since the beginning of the pandemic, 1,547 people have died due to the virus here in Kern County. Hospitalization rates continue to drop. At last check, 245 people were in local hospitals and 76 were in the ICU. It's been a difficult year for our local law enforcement agencies as they mourn those who lost their lives in the line of duty. And this weekend, hundreds gathered to show support for those who died while protecting our community. The Kern County 999 Foundation hosted its 15th annual Officer Down Ride Saturday. District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer was at the event and says crimes against peace officers are climbing across the nation.
Peace officers are very often victims. They are victims of crime. They are shot at, stabbed, run over, hit with a bottle, hit with a rock, spit upon. That's not just a cost of doing business. That's not acceptable. Those are crimes.
The Kern County 999 Foundation says donations from the event will support peace officers hurt in the line of duty and the families who've lost a loved one. And now to a 17 News exclusive. It's been 5 months since Bakersfield Police K-9 Django was shot and killed in the line of duty. His partner and handler sat down with 17's Tammy Milchok recently to talk about the loss and how he's moving forward.
The whole community mourned the loss of Django, but no one was as devastated as his partner and handler, Senior Officer Brock Mueller. For 4 years, Officer Brock Mueller and his K-9 partner Django were inseparable. Partners and best friends. They did everything together at home and on the job.
You just become such a close partnership, and it's so much more than just a pet or just a dog. It's a brotherhood, and you're 2 brothers, you're 2 best friends. It's everything.
Shots fired!
But everything changed the night of April 27th. Bakersfield police officers, including Mueller, were in pursuit of a car thief. After crashing into a fence on Highway 58, the thief took off running.
Please, K-9, you're gonna get bit! Stop running!
It was dark. Mueller released Django to help capture the suspect.
Here!
Moments later, the suspect, 20-year-old Dalton Koyman, began shooting. Police returned fire and killed Koyman. But Django, shot 3 times, did not survive. Django became the first K-9 killed in the line of duty in the Bakersfield Police Department's 123-year history. A memorial service for Django was held at Mechanics Bank Theater in May, an emotional Mueller paying tribute to his K-9 partner and best friend.
For the past 4 years, Django and I have been on so many calls, hunted dangerous suspects, forced criminals to surrender, and have been tested on several occasions. Many of you here today have shared in those moments, and I want to thank you for trusting Django and I to keep you safe.
Mueller has been without Django for 5 months. For the first time, he's talking publicly about that night and the loyal partner who saved his life.
How are you doing?
I'd like to say I'm moving forward, so I'm getting past some of the really hard parts. I can have a normal day. However, there's still things that bring up certain emotions.
We all know the job of a police officer is inherently dangerous, but Mueller says having a K-9 partner like Django is added protection.
They're just invaluable. It's hard to describe. But without them, there's numerous criminals that would have gotten away from law enforcement. There's a lot of people that we just wouldn't have found. And then, especially people that are running away from us. The incident that took Django, we had no clue that guy had a gun. And if it wasn't for Django, that would have been officers approaching that guy. And, we see it time and time again. Criminals will wait till the very last moment to produce a weapon to ambush officers because they're trying to take out as many as they can before they go. And because of Django, it was just him. Yeah.
Do you think Django is a hero?
Absolutely.
The loss of Django is still fresh. After his death, some people took to social media to question why Django wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest the night he was killed.
At the time, the vest that we had, they were bigger and they're bulkier. They were stab proof and bulletproof, but they're not custom fitted. So they are very big and bulky, and they kind of restrict the movement of the dog. So there were nothing that we couldn't have the dogs wear them 24/7. So the only times that we used that is when we knew for a fact they were going to possibly encounter either a firearm or somebody armed with a knife.
But after Django's passing, all 12 canines in the Bakersfield Police Department got custom-fitted vests that are lighter and can be worn throughout their shifts. The vests were donated in Django's memory, and there are other reminders of this canine hero.
Legends only die when their name is spoken for the last time. So there's, our field down here is named after him. I just want him to be memorialized. I know throughout the years here, during training, he'll be brought up constantly as a reminder of what we do every single day. But he was a hero, and he was family.
Tonight on 17 News at 5, Mueller gets ready to return to the streets with a new canine partner. You'll meet Mando and see how he's driving Mueller forward after his great loss. In studio, Tammy Melchak, 17 News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.